boxing news.
Okay, we'll start with this. Reinvigorated Nick Ball is ready to produce another special Liverpool night. Rested and rejuvenated Nick Ball is ready to get back to work. The no-nonsense WBA featherweight champion is a product of his environment and was built and hardened by Paul Stevenson and the team at Liverpool's Everton Red Triangle Gym. These days, Ball spends much of his time in Dubai, but the ring's number 3 ranked featherweight still returns to the streets and people that made him.
Jesus, he's making enough he moved to Dubai?
You're coming back for a reason, Ball told the ring. It's all business, it's go time, no messing around. There's no hanging out or chilling, it's full on. That's what we've always been doing to get us to this position, so we'll continue to do that. Everyone feels like they've got the best team in the game. That's right, they should feel that, but I feel like I have that.
There is an argument that maybe Nicky was wearing himself thin in the previous calendar year with the schedule that he was keeping. He boxed Ronnie Rios, TJ Doheny, subsequently Sam Goodman, and he didn't look good in the Goodman fight. He labored, at least at the start.
The best team for me is who I've got around me now, the people who I started with and the people who I'm going to finish with. I wouldn't be where I am today without them. I can honestly say that. On February 7th, Ball will defend his WBA featherweight title against America's 2-weight world champion, Brandon Figueroa. It will be his first appearance since he outpointed Sam Goodman in Saudi on August 16th. Subsequently taking the rest of last year off, and I'm assuming he started camp early this one. Goodman boxed well and caused Ball problems with his movement and willingness to counter, but although Ball did more than enough to take the Australians' unbeaten record and return home with his title, he wasn't quite as explosive or as relentless as usual.
It's where that argument comes from, that maybe Nick needed to take his foot off the gas and rest a bit because he looked shop-worn.
The win was his 5th world title fight within the space of 17 breakneck months, which took him to the featherweight division's summit. The break has given the all-action Ball time to recharge his batteries, but has also allowed him the time to take a breath, sit back, and appreciate exactly what he's achieved. It's been good to have a little break, but I like to stay active as well, so I'm always training, but it's good to have a break and realize how far you've come, and take it all in for a minute, and then go again, he said. When you're focused on what's next, what's in front of you, and your day-to-day thing, you don't have those moments. You don't give yourself those moments, so it's good to reflect and see how far you've come. Ball has reached the point where he can fill Liverpool's M&S Bank Arena. So far, the 28-year-old has defended his title 2 times at that venue, stopping Ronnie Rios and TJ Doheny. The veterans were solid, world-level operators, giving Ball the chance to grow into his role as a world champion, but Figueroa promises to provide a far more dangerous night's work. This fight, it is different.
It's not a foregone conclusion that Nick wins.
This will be the first time since becoming world champion that Nick is not fighting a handpick, somebody that they chose for him, somebody they felt he could handle. Brandon is his mandatory. He has to fight him. Returning to the sport reinvigorated, he's looking forward to meeting the aggressive Texan head-on. I can't wait. It's going to be a special night, this one. I've boxed here twice before as world champion and defended the belts twice. This is the 3rd time, he said. This time feels different. My last fight was in Saudi, and I wasn't too happy with my performance, to be honest. To watch it back, it was all right, but I wasn't myself in there. But that is what it is. I still got the win. I feel like now I'm coming back fresh in the new year. With a point to prove, Ball has underrated boxing ability but started off on the very bottom rung of boxing's ladder and forced himself to the top. He will need his every bit of his trademark aggression, fitness, and desire to turn back the ring's number 7 ranked featherweight, Figueroa. I started with nothing, he remembered. I started on a small show selling tickets to a fight. It's crazy, but that just shows you what hard work does and believing in yourself.
He'll be facing a pressure fighter like himself, albeit a very statuesque one, in Brandon Figueroa, whose boxing I'm not a fan of, nor have I ever been. I mean, I like pressure fighters, but Brandon is one of the shittier ones I've ever seen.
Brandon Figueroa giving up his height and length to the smaller fighter. I believe Nick Ball will have the edge. in the exchange.
So it usually goes.
Within close quarters, the shorter guy with the shorter arms punches usually connect faster because they don't have to travel as far, and guy with the shorter arms doesn't need as much room to work as the taller, longer fighter.
So I am leaning towards Nick to win the fight. But as stated, this fight is different because this will be the first time since Nick won that belt that he's not fighting a handpick.
Brandon Figueroa's been beat, but he's never been knocked out. And the 2 times that he got beat, it wasn't against an artillery fighter like Nick Ball, it was against a cerebral fighter in Stephen Fulton. So we know that Brandon can be out-hustled. We've seen that before, but we've never seen him out-muscled. Somebody go in there and beat him at his own game.
Nick is going to try to.
Elsewhere in the world of boxing, Dana White wants Terence Crawford to fight again after Masterpiece against Canelo. Terence Crawford should still have some fight left in him. That's if you ask UFC and Zuffa Boxing frontman Dana White. The 38-year-old Crawford announced his retirement last month with a carefully crafted 5-minute montage and followed it with a retirement party for family and friends this past weekend. Crawford left boxing with a perfect record of 42-0 and as the pound-for-pound king of the sport after beating Canelo Alvarez by UD in September to become the undisputed super middleweight champion. 100%. Crawford is an ATG, White told TMZ. He decided to retire. I think he should be out there fighting everybody. After seeing the masterpiece that he put on that night against Alvarez, he's so good and talented, I actually like him. He's a great guy. The tragedy with Crawford is that he didn't really achieve popularity until the tail end of his career. Really, after the Spence fight,
delivering on his promise to beat Spence and become undisputed champion, some of us always knew how that fight was going to go.
But it's not really until it happened that Terence Crawford's popularity really started to peak. What none of us realized at the time was that Terence would only be in the sport for 1 or 2 more years after that, and his popularity hit an all-time high when he thoroughly outboxed Canelo Alvarez. Though, having done that and climbed the mountaintop, there just ain't much left to do anymore.
And that's the tragedy of it, that he wasn't really appreciated most of his career, and his popularity didn't peak until the end of it, so there's a lingering desire to see him fight on. But what's the fight that would bring him out of retirement? Crawford opened up after calling it quits following a 17-year pro career, stating that 38 is too old to be fighting and that he has nothing left to prove or accomplish. Crawford previously hinted at a possible run at 160 in a quest to become a 6-weight world champion, but it never gained any serious momentum. White is in the process of promoting his inaugural Zuffa Boxing show scheduled for this Friday at the Meta Apex in Las Vegas. He's bullish on building momentum to get Crawford's attention for a comeback bout later this year.
We'll put on some fights here with Zuffa Boxing, see how things progress and play out with the stuff that I'm working on right now, White said, and I might give him a call in the next 6 to 7 months.
I don't doubt that he will, but whether or not Terence Crawford will bite is something else, because there just isn't a fight bigger than the one he just had.
Now, he can drop down to 160 and win a belt from a guy, but it's going to pale in comparison to what he just did. At 38 years old, having been in the sport as long as he's been in it, motivation and feeling inspired,
it's important.
You're talking about, guy, 42 professional bouts, 42 fights. That's 42 camps spread across 17 years, having debuted as a professional in 2008.
A champion at 5 weights, undisputed in 3, lineal in 4.
Ring Magazine in 4. I look at that and I say, that guy completed boxing, and that he's leaving with his health and his wealth intact. His unbeaten record. I actually don't want Terence Crawford to keep fighting. There are so few fairy tale endings in this sport, guys that get to leave on their terms, that they retired because they wanted to, and not because the sport retired them.
Go spend your money.
Have some fun. I heard that Terence Crawford has taken up a mistress. He's had an extramarital affair outside of his long-standing relationship with the mother of his children, and I advise him to do more of that.
Have some fun.
See the world, maybe take up a hobby, make a few investments, buy a few properties,
Fuck some hoes.
plan your children's future, leave them something behind so that they can live comfortably, so that they don't have to struggle.
There's no reason to keep fighting.
The Canelo Alvarez fight for Terrence, I think, was his Moby Dick, because it doesn't get bigger and it doesn't get better than that. Jumping up 2 weight classes to take on an established champion, an undisputed champion.
He was hard-pressed to find someone out there that would make for a bigger scalp than the scalp of Errol Spence Jr., and he found him.
You gotta think about boxing like a party, to where it's better for you to leave early than wait until it's too late. I don't want Terrence to keep fighting. I hope that if Dana gives him a call in the next 6 or 7 months, Terrence is on holiday, having hung the gloves up.
Men's heavyweight news. Tyson Fury believes Derek Chisora can stop Deontay Wilder. The ink on their contract isn't dry just yet, but Derek Chisora and Deontay Wilder look to be inching closer to a fight. News of the 2 heavyweight contenders possibly fighting has been confirmed by Shelley Finkel, Wilder's co-manager. Although an official date hasn't been sorted out just yet, Tyson Fury can't wait to grab a ringside seat and watch both of his former foes get it on. Few know Chisora and Wilder, like Fury. The former multiple-time heavyweight champion went 5-0-1 against them. With that knowledge, he not only has a feeling on who will win, but also how. I'm gonna go with my boy, War Chisora, for a stoppage win, Fury said on a self-recorded video posted to his Instagram account.
Can't say I blame Fury, because the last few years, Derek has been on a better run of form than Deontay Wilder. He's been fighting and he's been winning, whereas Wilder only got himself back in the winner's bracket by fighting some journeyman in Wichita, Kansas, and nobody.
Tyrell Herndon.
Is that the only way to get Wilder back in the winner's bracket? By putting him in there with the Tyrell Herndons of the world? Well, Derek Chisora is on a 3-fight winning streak after beating Gerald Washington and Joe Joyce, subsequently Otto Wallin. Fury's prediction, at least to a degree, stems from Wilder's lackluster form over the last few years. Losses to Fury were followed by losses to Joseph Parker at the end of 2023 and Zhilei Zhang by knockout in the summer of 2024. Wilder bounced back with a win over Tyrell Herndon last September. Chisora, on the other hand, has looked terrific lately. His 3-fight winning streak has got him a number 2 rank with the IBF and a number 6 rank with the WBO. Additionally, Fury wants to see his old friend go out on a high note. Chisora has repeatedly stated that this fight, his 50th, will be the last time he enters the ring. But while Fury will be rooting him on, he's simply happy that 2 of his old foes may fight each other. I think this is a great fight, Fury continued. I fought both of these men 3 times each, and I think it's a very, very good fight.
One thing about Derek is that he doesn't seem to have delusions of grandeur. He's a realist. He knows what his job is, he understands the assignment, and so he's able to get out there consistently and do it.
Delusions of grandeur can make the fall from grace, and the brunt of the impact that much more devastating when you realize you're not all that they made you out to be. You're human, and you can be beaten. Derek,
I don't think he has or had the same delusions of grandeur that Deontay Wilder had some years ago, drinking his own Kool-Aid and believing that he was the most devastating man in boxing at the time and one of the most devastating punchers in the history of it. I dare say that after his 4 defeats, Deontay Wilder's spirit is broken.
Whereas after 13 losses, more than 3 times as many losses as Wilder, Derek's spirit,
the fire within,
still there,
still burns.
The guy still gets out there, gets at it, and earns his money. He doesn't just show up for a check. He shows up to beat you up, and you've got to do something about it. I don't know that Wilder can.
Wilder's right hand has always been his best weapon, really his only weapon when you think about it. And at his age, he lacks the timing, the speed, and the snap on the punches to connect with that right hand as impactfully as he used to. I don't know that he can land it on Derek Chisora. He couldn't land it on Joseph Parker.
Said it in my previous video. Derek Chisora is going to fight a carbon copy of the fight that Joseph Parker fought, except Joseph had to make an adjustment to fight that way. Derek doesn't have to. Barreling forward, throwing looping punches over the top comes naturally to Derek. That's what he always does. That's his lane. So not only do I think he will be able to back up and bully Wilder, knock him off balance the same way that Joseph did, and force him under the ropes, I think he'll be able to connect with the backhand.
We're supposed to be training Wilder for this fight anyway, because last I heard, he separated from his old buddy, Malik Scotch.
Listen, I don't think it would have made the least bit of difference if Malik were in the corner anyway. The whole time that Malik was training Wilder, for all of his best intentions,
Didn't work.
I don't even fault Malik for what he was trying to do with Wilder. He was trying to patch up the holes and turn him into more of a boxer, get him to time his right hand so he can land it when he wants to land it. But at his age, and by the time he took him on as a student, Wilder was an old dog, and you can't teach an old dog new tricks.
Especially one that's settled into their bad habits. Derek, on the other hand, Derek knows exactly who he is as a boxer. He's not doing any soul searching or looking to be different. By now, Derek is what he is.
Who he is, for better or worse. And when he shows up, he knows exactly what he's going to do. We do too.
That's where they're different. Derek doesn't have the delusions of grandeur that Wilder has after defeat. It's what left Deontay Wilder soul searching, lacking his identity. Because he's not who they made him out to be, he doesn't know who he is. Whereas
Derek is a pressure guy, win or lose. He's going to fight the same fight. Sometimes it's going to work, sometimes it's not. But that's what he's going to do, because he knows who he is. Here in the twilight years of their careers, and what could be Derek Chisora's final fight, you tell me who you think has more to give on the night. Deontay or Derek?
I don't often agree with things that Tyson Fury says, but when it comes to his forecast for this fight, I'm leaning in that direction myself. I'm leaning towards Derek to knock Deontay Wilder off balance and perhaps knock him out